I wanted to buy a house since I was about like 16 years old, and I finally got pre-approved. My husband and I found out yesterday that we are now pre-approved to buy a home, and I'm so excited. So let's dive into the things that I wish I knew when I was 16 and wanting to buy a house so that within a few years I could have been ready to. The first thing I would recommend if you're young and wanting to buy a house sometime in your life is to get a credit card. Usually they want to see about 2 years of credit card history, and it's something important to have. You want to build your credit for so many things, whether it's buying a house, buying a vehicle. There's so many things in life, and having a credit score is so important. It's great to pay cash for things and not use a credit card, but have a credit card for your small purchases that you make all the time so that you can build your credit. Things like gas, groceries, but one thing I would never recommend is purchasing on the credit card if you don't have money to pay it off. So get a credit card with a really small limit, like $300 is more than enough. Use it for things like gas and groceries and pay it off. Make sure that you learn things about a credit card, like when to pay it off, to make sure that you don't pay interest, because that's the last thing you want to do. When you're buying a home, they look at your debt to income ratio, so it's really important that you have good income, but low debt to no debt. Another thing is saving for a down payment. So everything I'm talking about is based in Canada. I'm based in Canada, so this is Canadian knowledge. I'm also a licensed real estate agent since November 2022, which I probably should have mentioned first before you decide to take advice from me. Generally speaking, first-time home buyers can get away with having 5% of a down payment on a home, $500,000, or at least in the province that I live in. So let's say that you're buying a home for $350,000. What's 5% of that? $17,500. So you want to start saving for a down payment early. Not only do you need a down payment, but you also need to save money for closing and lawyer fees, which is generally about $5,000. They say it's about 1 to 2% of the purchase price of the home. So now you need 5% of the purchase price of the home, along with 1 to 2% for closing and lawyer fees. It's important the way that you save your money for your down payment, because the banks are probably going to want to see statements and see where it came from. So don't just hide money in your software. They want to be able to see statements in your bank account. So make sure that you're saving this money in a registered bank account. Another very important factor is your job, your income. Are you making any money? Remember that if you are self-employed, have a business, that they want to see about 2 to 3 years of you in business in the same business. So if you're starting a few different businesses that are startups and then you close down, but you've done that for 3 years, that's not likely what they want to see. They want to see 2 to 3 years of consistent of the same business and you actually taking income. As we know, for the first 1 to 3 years of a business, a lot of the times you don't even make any money, or you're lucky to break even. So keep that in mind. If you're going the route of being self-employed, that's great. But remember, if you're looking to buy a house, they're going to want to see good income on paper. So choose the route to pick a business, stay consistent and build it, or have a 9 to 5, work on your business on the side to have that proof on paper. The title position of your job does matter. It's a lot better to have full-time than part-time, because a lot of the time they want to see a letter of employment, which states that you are permanent, that you are full-time. They don't want to see part-time, temporary, seasonal, because that's not any guaranteed income. So remember, you want to look for a full-time job, or if you have a business, make sure that you're consistently doing it for several years so that you can show your income on paper. Another bonus way to help you get qualified is to speak to a mortgage broker and try a few, because they might all tell you different things and different numbers, which is something I've experienced from my personal background trying to get a home. So what I would recommend as well, make the decision to look for a 2-apartment home. Make sure that you tell your mortgage broker or whoever you're going to about getting a loan, whether it's a banker or mortgage broker, that you're looking to get a 2-apartment home. You're going to live in the basement apartment, you're going to rent the upstairs, and that's going to go towards your mortgage. Because you're going to have rental income, you're going to be able to hopefully get qualified for more money in the end. So that can make a significant difference when you're trying to purchase a home. Not to mention that down the road, this house can become a rental property, which can do so many great things. If you feel that you're ready to start the process of buying a home, the first thing that you need to do is you need to sit down and you need to determine your budget. How much can you actually afford to pay a month for a mortgage payment? Don't forget things like property tax, heat and light, home insurance, all those fun things that come along with purchasing a home, and any maintenance that might come up unexpectedly. So sit down and figure out how much are you paying out a month, how much do you make, and how much is a mortgage going to cost you. Because the mortgage on a house that's $500,000 is a lot different than a mortgage on a house that's $300,000. So sit down first and determine your budget. That's step number 1. After you have that figured out, you want to go get pre-approved by a mortgage broker to make sure that you're actually in the financial position to buy a house and that you can qualify. Make sure to talk to a few if necessary to get a few different opinions, and if you're not qualified, ask them what you can do to increase your chances in the future. This way, if you get pre-approved, you'll know how much, so you can start looking in your budget. If you get pre-approved, you want to start researching the market and hire a real estate agent. As a buyer, it costs you nothing to have a real estate agent, and they are so much asset in this journey. You have no clue how much a real estate agent can help you. They have all the inside scoop, they have access to the MLS, and so many other things that the general public does not. So you can have so much benefits at no cost to use a real estate agent when buying a home. So I highly recommend that, especially for first-time home buyers. When you're looking at a home and you place an offer, make sure you get a home inspection. You never know what's going on behind the wall. Always do a home inspection when necessary, because you never know what kind of issues you're going to run into. If you do a home inspection and maybe the home needs hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work, but you can afford that, then you know that this is not the home for you. Make sure you do that, because you never want to get into the situation where you buy a home that's just not what it seemed like. And remember, you don't need to rush the process. It is really hard in today's market, where I am personally, to find a home, because there's bidding wars. Homes are going up and they're going down just as fast. They're sold in a blink of an eye. But just remember to just keep looking, keep doing your research, and just stay consistent in your house hunting process, because you want to find that right home, and you don't want to settle just because you feel like you're so overwhelmed by the market. Don't forget to think about resale value. What is this home going to be worth in 5 to 10 years? Is this somewhere you want to stay long term? And just remember, when you're buying your first home, it's your first home, not your forever home. So it's okay if it's not your big, beautiful dream modern home. You can always do renovations. You can always buy another home. You're not stuck. You just want to make sure you make an educated decision. You don't want to spend too much money either, and you don't want to go what we like to call house poor. I hope all these tips bring some value to you, and I wish you the best of luck in your house hunting journey. And if you're not to that point in your life yet, I highly recommend that you save and plan for it. Whether you have a 3, 5, 10-year plan, whatever it is, put a plan in place and stick to it. I hope you subscribe for more valuable information.